Perfect. So thank you everyone for taking the time to join us today. If you are part of a COLAB27 or SPRINT29 cohort, definitely change your Zoom name so we can spotlight you during your presentation. So you can put your team name, or you can put COLAB27. For SPRINT29, you'll want to put SPRINT29. If you're an alumni, please feel free to include your cohort number as well too. It's always cool to see, which cohorts folks are coming from. If you're a prospective or potentially interested student, you can also put that. And of course, for mentors, you can put that you're a mentor as well. If you can, keep your camera on. We'll be able to spotlight the folks who are presenting. So please keep your camera on, of course, when it is your turn to present. But it's always great to see everyone's faces as well too. So keep your camera on while you can. And if you've never changed your name in Zoom before, if you go to the participants menu, you should be able to click the more button beside your own name, and then you should be able to rename yourself. There's a button that says rename. I'm going to actually go ahead and do that now and change my name as well too. And we'll get started in just a few minutes. I'm just going to give folks a moment to join in, and then we'll get started. All right. For folks that are just joining in, don't forget to change your Zoom name if you can. If you're part of COLAB29, feel free to use your name and then your team name. And if you're part of SPRINT29, you can put your name and then SPRINT29. We've listed it on the screen there as well too, but feel free to adjust as it works for you. And we'll probably get started in just a minute here. And I just want to say thank you to everyone for taking the time to join us today on a Friday. We'll have 6 presentations today, 3 from our SPRINT29 cohort, and then 3 teams from our COLAB27 cohort. And this is just a snapshot of the portfolios and the products that you'll be able to see from these cohorts as well. So definitely take a look at the product portfolio pages on our website to see all of the amazing work that everyone has done in those 2 cohorts as well. All right. So I think we're going to get started. Just a quick agenda for folks, what to expect today. We've got, brief welcome remarks, which we're doing right now. Then we'll go into the presentations, the product demos. As mentioned, we're going to have 3 presenters from our Sprint program and then 3 teams presenting from our bootcamp, COLAB27. So those presentations will look a little different. You'll get a sense of what folks have built in both of those programs. And then we will be finishing off with a Q&A with Braden Hawes, who is the Principal Product Manager at Grow.com, as well as the co-founder of Utah Product Guild. So that'll be really exciting as well, too. All right, so I'm gonna stop sharing my screen, and we will have Akil from SPRINT29.
Cool. Thanks, team. Give me just a minute. Let me get my screen. Yeah. Cool. Am I seeing my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yep.
Sweet. Am I good to go?
Yep, you can go ahead.
Well, thanks again for the opportunity. Happy Friday, everyone. Hope we're doing well. Today I'm presenting WorkWiz, which is a product I'm developing, which is helping job seekers put their best foot forward in the job market. So let's go through the problem. The premise here is that the process of updating my resume, preparing for interviews, it's exhaustive, it's poor, repetitive. We've all been there. A lot of the times, users will only actually reflect on their accomplishments during a job hunt, which essentially requires them to go back and actually fit whatever accomplishments they've had to their resume and somehow recall stories for interviews. Think about it. When's the last time you updated your resume? You probably sat down for a few minutes and said, what the heck did I actually do for the past few months? What is it that I've done? What do I say that I've done? And so the additional challenge here is ensuring that whatever accomplishments, stories, and experiences I have are actually tailored for a specific job as well. So I sat down with about 40 people and I said, what are your problems? And I found that 80% of participants only update their resumes when job hunting. Now, based on a Bureau of Labor study, the average job tenure itself is only 4.3 years. Additionally, 68% of users say that they rarely or never document their day-to-day experiences. All that basically means is that most people will apply to a new job every 4 years, yet they're not regularly documenting what actually happens between those 4 years. This was confirmed as I found that 57.5% of users have difficulty recalling their experiences, and 70% of people have difficulty summarizing their achievements. Additionally, during job interviews, 90% of participants I sat down with stated that they actually struggle to recall or emphasize their past experiences. This leads to my problem statement, which is how might we assist candidates in updating their resumes with their recent accomplishments and preparing them comprehensively for interviews so that they can better showcase their qualifications and experiences in a more tailored and compelling manner. Now, the proposed solution that I have is WorkWiz, and I'll just go over a few key features really quickly before moving on. This app will essentially act as a personal documentation tool and portfolio. It'll have two main features in the MVP. First one will be daily accomplishments login. Essentially, users will be prompted to enter significant events from their day or week, and they'll easily be able to document their daily accomplishments. WorkWiz will then categorize and store skills and achievements using some type of chatbot or ChatGPT type model. Essentially, it would ask, how was your day? What did you do today? And users would have a conversation, and this would essentially allow the chatbot to store and understand different elements of the story. The second feature is actually retrieving those experiences. Now, the problem is that users need access to those stories and experiences. And so what they'll get is essentially an option to search for stories based on keywords or categories, such as, give me a time when I gave some example of teamwork. When did I solve a problem? Have I ever worked through some kind of communication problem at work? The app will then provide suggestions for stories that the user has completed based on job requirements. This essentially allows us to give users the option to look into stories that they may have overseen or overlooked as significant in their own lives and come up with something that they can easily and readily speak about in an interview. Now, moving on quickly to my key learnings from this entire process of SPRINT29. The biggest thing I found was documentation. There's a lot of writing. We all know there's a lot of writing here. In product management, if it's not documented, it doesn't exist. And so it's not only being able to write down what you think is important, but being able to convince a team of designers, developers, marketing, ops, strategy, whatever it is, that this is an actual problem that needs to be solved. Second thing is user surveys. I found that if I'm asking the wrong questions, I'll get answers to things I don't want. And finally, innovation is about identifying the what before the how. I'll stop there. Thank you again for the opportunity. I'll take questions if we're doing that now, but if not, I'm happy to pass it back.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Akil, and great job keeping to the time. I know the timer can be a little stressful, but you did amazing. We'll move over to mentor feedback. We'll have a minute or two from Risha.
Thanks, Beth. Akil, first of all, great job on identifying a problem that exists in the current market, and great job on the research and highlighting the research findings that really it showcases that the problem exists and there's a need for the solution that you're suggesting. One actionable feedback that I might give is it's easier to visualize something which you're talking about rather than just reading off of it. So in your presentation, if there were some lo-fi or hi-fi designs that you could have included, would have really helped the people here see what solution you're talking about.
Wonderful.
Yeah, totally fair. Thank you. Yeah, makes sense.
Thank you so much. For everybody on the call, do feel free to drop more questions if you have them in the chat for Akil. Great job. And we'll move on to our next SPRINT29 presenter, which is Caitlin.
Thanks so much, Beth. Give me a second while I get there. Great. Can everyone see this loading up?
Yep.
Fabulous. All right, I'm ready now. Hi, everyone. I'm Caitlin. I'm really proud to be part of SPRINT29. Today, I'm going to introduce Roots, a digital tool to better communicate with your social network where you'd like to live. This came out of me seeing people on Instagram stories posting housing opportunities. And I saw a couple of issues with this. It has limited reach and visibility. Instagram stories only last 24 hours unless you pin it to your profile, which is an underutilized feature for Instagram. It only hits a small fraction of your followers, and it's not the intended use of the feature. Anyone that's going to DM you after this, it's coincidental. It's not a purposeful housing search tool. So I'm hoping that Roots, my product, is a solution to this. The framework behind this is that the housing landscape in the US lacks proactive discussions and collaborations about housing plans, and this is leading to missed opportunities for you to build a community with people that you love and want to be around, especially as shared housing arrangements are on the rise. So the problem that we got to figure out here is how might we solve to foster this open communication and planning about housing goals among connected individuals in a social network. Really emphasizing on enhancing intentional community building, facilitating residence searches, and enabling individuals to discover shared housing needs amongst their peers. In my research, I surveyed 20 people and followed up in depth with 5. I found 6 key themes: lack of proactive housing discussions, inefficient resident searches, lack of structured housing planning. There's a growing trend in co-living, but now more than ever, people are reporting feelings of loneliness and isolation, and this is all leading to overlooked housing planning. My user segments that I found are basically broken down into 3 parts: digital nomads and young urban professionals, young adults and couples, empty nesters and retirees. They all are looking for different things in their residences, makes sense, and they leverage their social network very differently. The user personas are basically hitting on the renting demographic and the buying demographic, right? If you're not making it known that you're in the market for a rental, you're going to miss out on opportunities. Same with buying, especially when people you know might also be in the market. From my data, 68% of the sample lives in co-living situations where another person helps contribute to the rent. Makes sense, since 20% more co-living rooms are reported now than in 2020. And 30% of people surveyed found that living close to people they know is really important, but only 44% of the sample reported using their social network to find it. And from that, 5% are using digital tools to communicate about it. I'm hoping to do an API integration first, and this is all in the goal of increasing this organic communication and planful housing. I'm going to measure adoption, usage, and retention across my users. And thanks so much for listening a little bit about Roots.
Great job, Caitlin. Thank you so much for your presentation. Really cool product idea. We'll move over to mentor feedback. And I think we have Kemi for the mentor feedback. Well, let's see if Kemi is available. If Kemi's not available at the moment, we'll have Risha step in again.
Thanks, no worries.
Sorry, I just, sorry, I was trying to unmute myself.
No
Yeah.
problem.
That was really great. Sorry, video. Yep. Okay. Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you so much, Caitlin. I think your app is brilliant, knowing that there's a lot of shortage of accommodations right now. So great that you guys are working on this, and the survey sort of like captured what is currently happening. So can't wait to see the outcome of it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kemi. And thank you, Caitlin, for your presentation. For everyone on the call, do drop your questions or comments in the chat for Caitlin as well, too. We'll move on to our final Sprint presenter, which is Lily. Take it away.
Hi. Can everyone see?
Yep.
That's great. Good. Hi, I'm Lily. My background is a localization program manager. During my day-to-day, I'm working a lot with product manager and UX designer. My product today is the Global UX Studio. It's about building user experience design that drive more engagement and sales internationally. Let's now talk about the problem. Business expanding globally struggle to create user experience design that are culturally relevant. They also struggle to localize the user experience design itself. And by doing so, they are missing out up to 40% on potentially sales and up to 76% less customer engagement. It's about adapting product, feature, and content to local customer needs. Now, let's go to the user story. Let's meet Carl. Carl is a UX designer. Carl wants to adapt design to global market and embrace cultural nuance into the design. Now, let's meet Patrick. Patrick is a business owner. Patrick would like to identify and understand the design, international standard, and the diverse cultural nuance for targeted international market, so that it can tailor the product to maximize the global user engagement and satisfaction. I ran a survey on LinkedIn and Reddit. And based on the survey, 38.5% of people who complete the survey find it challenging to identify specific cultural nuances needed for international market, even company with internal localization team. I have to mention that the most people who file the survey are people working in the globalization industry. And we have 38.5% of people who emphasize on speed and efficiency in adapting offering for international launch. And 43.5 people are interested in the potential solution to solve this issue. Now, my learning at Co.Lab. I'm really thankful for Co.Lab because it has been an intense journey, and I've been able to actually focus on understanding the problem first and the user needs, and also prioritize the user research and getting as much as feedback as I can. And also, right now, I'm not afraid to continue testing and collecting user feedback, since it's a key for optimal user experience. The future step is about keep on collecting customer insight, check out the competition, and define the tool and feature and benefit. Thank you, Co.Lab.
Great job, Lily. Thank you so much. And now we'll move over to mentor feedback from Risha.
Hi. I think great problem space and great presentation. I would just like to call out one thing. I know the time was very limited, but it would have been good to include the solution. What is the proposed solution for the problem space?
Yes, I have the solution, but I click on my slide twice and then I skip the slide. So the potential, I have a potential solution. So sorry about that. And I noticed when I click the slide twice, is about creating a localization user-centric design. So actually integrate the solution to like design tool like Figma and Adobe.
Okay, great. Awesome. Thank you so much, Lily. So that was our 3 Sprint 29 presenters. As mentioned, this is just a small snapshot of the folks that we had in our Sprint 29 cohort. So do check out the rest of the portfolios on our website. I'll get Mitch to drop the link in the chat as well. And if you have any comments or questions for Lily, please do drop those in the chats and continue the conversation as well. Now we'll move on to our bootcamp presenters. Just keeping in mind the timer as you go through, folks, there is a little bit more to present for our bootcamp folks. So this is your practice to be concise and compelling. We'll move over to our product manager, Yufi. You can go ahead. All right.
So my name is Yofi, and I'm product manager at SwapFit AI. In a world where fitness journeys are often derailed by unavoidable circumstances, SwapFit AI emerges as our adaptive fitness ally. Our mission to ensure our users' fitness plan evolves with them, making every workout count. The fitness industry is booming with a market size of $30.6 billion in 2022 in the US alone. Yet it fails to meet individual needs effectively. Busy schedules, crowded gyms, and a one-size-fits-all approach leave many behind. SwapFit AI addresses this head-on, tapping into a market ripe for adoption. Our users face a trio of formidable challenges: gym equipment unavailable during peak hours or not at all, the struggle for progress due to injuries or plateaus, and the daunting task of finding a workout plan online that matches their unique goals. Today, we uncover the pivotal insights that are shaping the core functionality of SwapFit AI, your adaptive fitness ally. Through our diligent research comprising of 7 interviews and 8 survey responses, we pinpointed a crucial need in the resistance training regime, the necessity for adaptive exercise alternatives, and built on MVP to solve our users' pain points first by prioritizing pain-killing features for our users. And I'll go to our proposed solution. For our team learners, here at SwapFit AI, comprising of Jenny as designer and myself as product manager, Tom and Sebastian as front-end and back-end developers respectively, we believe in the power of collaboration to drive innovation and create impactful solutions. Our journey in building an AI product at Co.Lab has been guided by agile product management principles and a commitment for cross-functional collaboration. As a team, we've embraced agile mindsets, prioritizing flexibility, iterative product development, and constant feedback loop. Thank you, and you can download our app scanning the QR code. Thank you.
Great job, Yufi. This is amazing. I haven't been to a gym since before the pandemic myself, but definitely know that that was a huge challenge. So that's really, really cool to see that kind of like ability to swap in a new exercise, especially for someone new that maybe doesn't know what particular muscle group they might be working. Awesome. So now let's move over to our mentor feedback from Risha.
I'll second Beth's thought here. Like, great problem space. This is a problem I face as well. And great presentation as well, highlighting the product, highlighting the value as well. One actionable feedback that I can give is probably there are a lot of products out there in the market as well that does something similar or provides more features. So highlighting the unique value proposition would be really helpful in pushing the product forward.
Thank you.
Great job, Team SwapFit. For anyone who has questions or any comments, feel free to add those in the chat so everyone on the team can answer in the chat as well. And now we'll move over to our next team, which is Team SmartRoot with Carolina. Carolina, sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name.
It's okay. It's Carolina.
Carolina, okay.
Let me just pull my screen. Share screen. Okay, can I
Awesome.
see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I'm Carolina, the product manager, and I work closely with Claire, our product designer, as well as Connor and William, our product developers, in crafting our product Smart Route. So meet Susan. Susan is an office manager for a private medical practice, and with a busy schedule, she juggles multiple errands daily, from purchasing office supplies to managing inventory. And despite relying on her navigation app, Susan struggles with its limited functionality, often missing out on the quickest routes. So our research revealed that most people found existing navigation apps to not be intuitive when calculating routes for multiple stops. Users encountered frustrations in trip planning as they had to input the order of destinations manually, which consumed significant time. We also noticed that although Google Maps lacks optimized route ability, it remains the preferred app for most users, making it unlikely for them to adopt a new solution. So based on the user pain points, we developed Smart Route. What sets it apart from other route solutions is its route optimization feature. Users can input multiple stops and receive the most efficient routes factoring distance, traffic, and road closures. The web app offers convenient features like optional autocomplete for stops, up to 5 stops input, an interactive map displaying the shortest route and duration, a list of stops with directions, the option to print directions, and lastly, a convenient option to open the route directly in Google Maps. With Smart Route, navigating your journey has never been easier. So let's dive into how Smart Route works. Smart Route calculates the fastest route between multiple destinations. You can input addresses using the autocomplete tool or simply enter the names of places you plan to visit. So let's say I'm heading to a new Oakland pharmacy and I'm running errands at Wells Fargo and Office Depot in Berkeley. So after entering the final destination, I'll just click on Generate Smart Route, and it'll generate a map showing the most efficient way to reach each spot. It provides route times and the order of stops. If you click on this view, it generates step-by-step directions for each stop. And clicking Opening Google Maps will redirect it to Google Maps with the route embedded. So as we reflect on our journey together at Co.Lab, there are 3 key learnings that stand out. Firstly, we embraced a user-centric approach, putting the needs of our users at the forefront of our decisions. This allowed us to create a product that accommodates their needs. Secondly, we adopted an iterative testing process, constantly refining and improving our product based on user feedback. And finally, effective communication and active listening were paramount. By openly discussing ideas, sharing feedback, and truly listening to each other, we were able to foster a culture of trust and collaboration. So thank you from all of us in the team, and join us in making your next route smarter.
Awesome. Great job, team. I love the learnings as well to being able to communicate really well and foster that team culture. It's so important. And that's a really great learning to take away. We'll move over to mentor feedback from our mentor, Kemi. And Kemi, if you don't have your video on, we're going to ask for you to turn it on so we're able to spotlight you again. Perfect. And you'll need to unmute as well. There we go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you're muted again.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm driving right now, but I was listening to what the Caitlin was talking about, and it's brilliant. I think it's a fantastic idea for you to have incorporated, customer centric, which is the most important thing when you're building products. You can build a product and no one is going to buy it if it doesn't meet their needs. So great job, guys. Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm just going to add another really quick piece of feedback. I know a few people mentioned that they don't like Google Maps. And just to kind of tag on to, I think what something Risha mentioned to the other CoLab team is, I think being able to showcase like what really differentiates your product is another really great way to showcase, you know, like why SmartRoute over another tool that also provides that kind of features as well too. Wonderful. Great job, team. We'll move on to our final bootcamp presenters, which will be Team Home Shield with our PM Kat.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just going to have Polina share our slides. Okay, let's get started. Hi all, let us take you on our product journey where we redefine the way Americans care for their homes. I'm Kat, the product manager behind Home Shield. Our team consists of Polina, our exceptionally talented designer, and Nathaniel and Adrian, our innovative software developers. Imagine finally owning your first home. You've signed the paperwork, secured the keys, but soon questions start piling up. What is the difficulty level of a roof inspection? Should I hire a professional or do it myself? For many homeowners, having to juggle home maintenance on top of everyday life demands can often lead to stress and financial strain. To address these challenges, we dove into intensive one-week research sprint, engaging with over 38 respondents, followed by meticulous data analysis. Our user interviews revealed common concerns, with costs, lack of knowledge, and time and energy constraints as major barriers. Based on the identified user pain points and research, we developed a comprehensive web app that offers personalized task lists, DIY resources, and expert guidance. This is why we created Home Shield. Starting on the homepage, we describe the process for creating a personalized home maintenance list based on your preferences and property. We offer a look into popular maintenance tasks to give you a preview of what your customized list will include. Let's get started. To get your personalized list, you can select your property type. Then you can indicate which type of amenities you have. Finally, you can know any special requirements. Then just click next. Your curated list will have tasks that describe the DIY level, category, and recommended frequency for completion. Selecting an individual task will give you the option to watch a DIY video and find a list of necessary materials. We break down the costs associated with DIY versus hiring a contractor. We also offer a list of trusted contractors. This experience has taught us so much about the collaborative process of building a successful product. For myself, I picked up valuable skills like managing one-week sprints and using agile methods for quick product iterations and timely feature delivery. For Polina, she could see her design choices through the eyes of developers and a product manager, which made her a better designer. For Adrian, she learned how to build a product on a cross-functional team and adapt to changing requirements. For Nathaniel, he learned the importance of breaking down user stories into technical tasks to improve the understanding, focus, and progress tracking throughout the development journey. Overall, our team journey was both challenging and immensely rewarding. We faced strict deadlines and limited time. However, through our hard work, we gained invaluable experience and collaborated within a cross-functional team. We also learned that great products are built by teams, not individuals. With our product Home Shield, you're able to maintain the home that you deserve. Thank you.
Amazing job, team. I don't know if you saw my jaw drop at one point, but I was like, I need this. I bought a home and there are so many things that I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this or how to maintain this. So really, really cool problem space. We'll move over to our mentor feedback from Risha.
First of all, I would like to say everyone in this presentation has done a great job in identifying a gap that exists currently. So goes for you as well. Great problem space and a great product to solve for that. The design itself is also very intuitive, as well as like one thing I really liked about the presentation is it clearly highlights what the product is, whether it's an app, whether it's a web app or a plugin or a extension. So great job doing that as well. One piece of actionable feedback I could give is some of the UI components doesn't seem to be aligned right now. I know it's an MVP, so that is something that you guys can definitely work on.
Thanks so much.
Great job, team. Thank you so much to all of our COLAB27 presenters and our Sprint29 presenters. Mitch has been doing an awesome job dropping the links in the chat, so do check out their product portfolios. They also have slightly longer pitch presentations in those portfolios as well, and you can watch the recorded pitch presentations for the folks who did not get a chance to present today, since we do have a limited amount of time. But yeah, definitely add any other questions, any other thoughts that you have in the chat for our presenters to take a look at. And I just want to say a big congratulations, a big round of applause to everyone who went through our Sprint29 and COLAB27 cohorts. You did it, you made it. You know, we say at the beginning, orientation and kickoff for both of our cohorts, that it does fly by. You know, it was 4 weeks for the sprint cohort and 8 weeks for the boot camp, and the time has gone really quickly. But I hope you can look back at where you started and where you are now and can see a, you know, significant change in how confident you feel, you know, what you've been able to create, and of course the learnings that you've made with your team along the way as well. And hopefully you made some friends throughout the cohort as well too. Wonderful. Great job to everybody. Now we're going to move over to our Q&A with Braden. So we'll get set up for that and we'll get going. I just want to do a really quick call out to everyone who's on the call. Feel free to drop your questions in the chat as we go along. I have a couple that I'll start with, but we will be pulling questions from the chat for Braden as well too. Welcome, Braden. First, I guess let's do a quick introduction. Introduce yourself. Tell us your story.
Yeah, I'm Braden. And I just want to say great presentations by everyone. I think I've done this 2 times now, maybe 3 times, and I'm always blown away. Like everyone's design skills and like problem thinking is really great, especially in such a short time frame. So congrats to all of you guys. Yeah, I'm Braden. I work as a principal product manager at a company called Grow.com. We are a BI company that's in the middle of shifting to be more of like a data platform. Really focused on helping people use their data, especially with AI, to make better business decisions. And then outside of that, myself, one of my product manager friends, we run the product management group here in Utah. We started it last year. We've got about 500 members now, focused on just having a community of practice in Utah to help us all get to know each other and get better product. And outside of that work, I'm a Utah guy, so live out west and spend a lot of time outdoors. I've got an old truck that I work on, kind of my product management outside of work product stuff. But yeah, excited to be here.
Awesome. That's great. I recently learned that Utah has some really amazing like hiking trails and mountains. I didn't know that. I'm Canadian, so I've never been to Utah, but well, that's
up north, we've got some really good mountains, and then down south where I live, like the national park is probably 20 minutes from our house. So
that's awesome.
we're over there quite a bit. It's great.
That's so great. Wonderful. Well, thank you for introducing yourself, giving us a bit of background about what you do. I guess let's start with a fairly simple question. How would you define the role of a product manager?
Yeah, I think for me, I like the core product is all about solving problems. But it's a really unique way of problem solving because you have to be able to think through, you know, what's the problem the customer has and what's the actual problem? Because a lot of times customers will tell you like, here's the problem, and it's not the real thing that's the problem. So being able to dig into that and then balance that with what's technically possible, like solving it from this technical perspective by teaming up with your engineering teams and design teams. And then as important as that is also like thinking about from the business perspective, like how do we solve this problem from like a way that makes sense for our business, which I think for the last couple of years hasn't been as big of a deal. I think with during kind of like the ZIRP interest rate period, like everyone was just all about like building tons of stuff. We'll figure out how to pay for it later on. And now it's like really coming to focus of like, yes, we need to solve this problem, but it has to make business sense first. So it's really a unique skill set. I think when you just say like you solve problems, on the surface it sounds kind of easy, but it's a really hard it's a hard thing to do.
I think that's a really great way of looking at it. Yeah, that you're solving problems, but there's so many different facets to that and different ways to look at it. And I hope that, the folks that went through our bootcamp program and of course the sprint program got a chance to really understand what it means to dig into the problem space and of course work with their design and developers as well too. What would you say are the most important skills that you need to have in product, not necessarily just as a product manager, but even for our designers, developers? Are there any like top tier skills that you would say?
Yeah, I think curiosity is one, and then it's, like I said, yeah, so like some maybe soft skills and hard skills. Curiosity is a big one, I think, because kind of back to that first thing I said, it's like customers will love to tell you all the problems they have. And I think in a lot of times, like they are problems, but you really have to dig into like, here's what you're saying is wrong. And I'm going to go 5 steps deeper and figure out here's what's actually like the core thing that's we need to solve for. And if we fix this, it's going to fix everything else. So being really curious. I think the other thing I would say is like ownership. So before I was a product manager, I was a project manager for 5 years. Really liked it. The thing I didn't like though was like you have a real lack of ownership in a role like that where you work on this project for a while, you hand it off and hope those people keep doing it. In product, it's all about like, this is my thing and like, I'm going to drive the success of it. So in the highs and the lows, like you're the owner for it. And being able to own it from both perspectives is really important. And then I think some more like hard skills, like just like a high level of technical understanding. Like you don't need to be able to code, but you need to be able to understand like what's an API and like how does it work conceptually, like what's some front end framework, some back end database stuff like that is important and helpful, I think. And then one of the like a big one that most people call out in their presentations is communication. A lot of the job of the product manager is just communicating. So both through like oral communication, like meeting with different stakeholders, meeting with customers, and then also tons of written communication. In the first presentation, I can't remember who said it, but like if it's not written down, it doesn't exist. It's a huge part of being a product manager, just like writing down everything that's going on, because you'll have to go back to it and reference it so much and be able to point other people to, here's everything I've done to help us figure out where we're going.
Perfect. I think that's really great. And yeah, like the second point you gave of like technical knowledge, but not necessarily too deep. I think that's a big insecurity for a lot of folks looking to transition into product, as they think if I don't know how to code or I don't have this, then I won't be able to do it. But that, being able to understand it so that you can communicate with your developer teams is really, really truly important. So having that grasp on that is important as well. Awesome. And I would say, I guess my next question would be, and I'm just going to do a quick call out to everybody in the chat. Feel free to drop your questions. That way we can have even more questions for Braden to answer as well too. What would you say is the biggest challenge that aspiring or junior product managers face? And maybe to add to that, how can they overcome it?
Yeah, I think Co.Lab, is trying to solve this problem. Is the biggest problem or the biggest challenge, I think, is like, to be a product manager, you kind of need product experience, but the only way to get that experience is being a product manager. It's this like crazy loop. Yeah, so I think a program like Co.Lab is great to help you like get some real world experience, especially when you're like working with a team like a designer, some engineers, like you're doing the real work of a product manager, and you come out on the other end with an app where you can say, hey, go download my app. Like it's a real thing in the world you've built is a huge deal. So I think that's a good way of tackling it. And if that's not like an option, like I think the other thing people can do is like, you could start doing the job of a PM, even when you're not a PM. I've had quite a few friends who, they've worked in other roles like customer success or like a product specialist role, and they've like partnered up with product management to like do product work, even when it's not their main. That's how I got into product management. I came to a company as a solution engineer and told the head of product, like, I want to get into product management. What do I do? And he helped me like, while I was doing my main job, he was also helping me work on some product stuff on the side and like bringing in like, I was talking to customers every single day in my job, seeing the gaps in our product and helping him like fill those gaps. So looking for ways to just do the job, even when you don't have the title, it's going to set you up.
Awesome. I think that is really great advice for anyone working in a situation where they can do that, connecting with folks and, just being involved in it as much as possible to keep building that product mindset. And that's applicable, I think, even for folks in design or devs as well, like being able to connect with those teams in some capacity and showcasing that desire to get there. Awesome. I'm seeing a couple of questions coming in the chat, so I'm going to switch over there so we can make sure to answer those as well too. And one of these is actually very similar to a question I have listed. But any tips for cracking your first entry level role?
Yeah, I'd say like kind of those kind of same things we just talked about apply, like trying to like get real world experience and be able to showcase it. So having like some kind of portfolio or like an application you built is great. And then like I think the easiest path, I don't know if it's easiest, but like trying to do like that internal like transfer, I think, is a big way to get in. And I think another big thing is like just like being very intentional about like telling everyone products where you want to go. I've seen a lot of product managers in our own community who kind of like try and split it. Like they're aspiring and like they're doing all this stuff because they want to be a product manager, but they're also just like not telling people in their regular job, like, hey, this is where I want to go. I think if you tell people, like, they're going to help you get there. So being very intentional about wanting that and like letting everyone know, I think is a big deal. And then I'd say the other thing is like, well, maybe two other things. Maybe this is too much to answer, but I would say one thing is just like networking is huge, because you never know like where you're going to get those opportunities. And the last thing is like whatever job you're doing right now, like be a problem solver. Like it's kind of a broad statement, but like a couple jobs ago, I had like our CEO just called me like the problem department. He's like, any big problem, we just send it to Braden. And I would work like with marketing. I don't know anything about marketing. And they come and be like, hey, we need to figure this out. And so like being that go-to person, I think is a big deal. So those are some things that I've seen be successful for myself and for other people.
Awesome. I think that that's really helpful. As you were mentioning, putting it out there, telling people that products where you want to go, it brought to mind like building in public and how we encourage folks to, share what you're doing, share what you're learning, share that that's where you're headed. And I think a lot of people are insecure about posting that they're looking to transition into product, maybe for fear of their current role. But again, like you said, if you're sharing where you want to be headed, people are wanting to be able to help you get there as well too, and that helps grow your network. So it's a 2-in-1. Similar vein of the networking question, we have a question from Didier asking, what steps can aspiring product managers take to build a strong network within the product management community? So diving a little deeper there.
Yeah, I think one of the things that, so we have a community, Utah Product Guild. So we're a product management community for PMs in Utah and aspiring PMs. And I think one of the things that we've seen people who are aspiring to get into product management struggle with is just like having the confidence to like know that you can contribute. Like I think a lot of people who are wanting to get into product reach out to mentors or like try and get into networking communities, and like they're very much in this this phase of like I need to learn, which I think is true, but you also have stuff to contribute. I think right off the bat, and like being willing to do that's what's going to really set you apart. So like as you reach out to mentors, sharing articles you've read or like talking about the work they've done and maybe insights you have, I think is really powerful. And like having that confidence to know like even if I haven't done the product role yet, like formally, like I have things that I can contribute that are unique. So like before I work at my current job, I was in healthcare for 10 years. So it's like I know a ton about healthcare. And so like I use that as like a leverage to get into product. Was like, I don't know a lot about product management, but I know a ton about healthcare, and use that to kind of build my like product management, like healthcare network, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And I think something you said too reminded me of a quote that I always attribute to Shifumi. I'm sure, I think he just joined the call as well too, but that everyone has something to learn and everyone has something to teach. So I think going back to what you said about like not being afraid to contribute and that, you always have something to bring to the table and it helps kind of layer your own learning as well too. That's awesome. Paulina asked, just lost it there. What is your approach to hiring people for your own team? And what can you advise for a professional searching for their dream job or dream team?
Yeah, I think one thing that I've done and I still do like personally is like I have like a list of like dream companies that like I keep track of. Like here's the places I want to work. And you know, same kind of thing, like reach out to product management there. Even when they're not hiring, and start to like build those connections there, like reach out to PMs. I don't know if anyone knows like Palantir, who that is, but like I would love to work at Palantir. I know like 10 PMs there. They're not hiring, but I talk to them all the time. It's like whenever they're hiring, like I want to get a job there. So I think that's a big deal, is like having that kind of like dream list, and I think being very like intentional about what that list looks like. Like, don't just go after like, oh, Google and Facebook and Amazon. Like, don't go after the big names, but find like what you're really good at and what you really care about. Like for me, it's data companies. So like I'm looking for like what's the best data tools and meeting people there. And yeah, I think for like how we hire is we don't really focus that much on like those like hard skills, like, oh, do you know how to code, or do you know design really well? Like any type of like those types of things you can learn. It's all about like, is the person curious? What have they done in the past to show that they wanted, like, they can do the product job, kind of we've been talking about already. And I think another like personality trait we really look for is like being driven, because the job of being a product manager, I think especially lately, it's like it's a pretty like glamorous, it's like a glamorized job. And if you like product, it's the best job in the world, but it's also a super hard job. You have an endless amount of like requests coming your way, tons of impediments and restrictions you have to work through. So being able to just like drive through all those and like get to a path of success for your team and for the customer is like a hard thing. So like, yeah, we look for people who are like really like driven, or like really like willing to go the extra mile.
Awesome. I think that that's kind of like a great, I want to say reality check. Maybe that's not the kindest way to say it, but just truly understanding that like it is a hard role, and like being in product is difficult. But that doesn't mean that it's not the right fit, but just understanding yourself. And like you said, making sure that you're aligning with the company as well too. Like, does it actually fit with who you are and what's important to you? I love that. That's awesome. Next question here. Looking back, is there anything you would have done differently in your approach to securing a PM role? I know you kind of touched on that you did healthcare and then you were in project management. Is there anything you would have done differently in your pathway?
Yeah, I think for me, like I would have, back to like being more intentional about it, I think I would have done that sooner, because I was kind of just doing like project management as my main job, doing all this studying and like side work, trying to get into product. But I didn't like merge those things together until I got hired at this one company. I like, went to the head of product, like my second day, was like, I want to be a product manager. Like, how do I get there? And he helped me, like, it took me like a year, but he helped me get there. Like if I had done that sooner, I'm sure I could have done the same thing a long time ago. So I think that for me was like my biggest like thing was just the sooner you could do it, like the better, like that intentionality. And then I think back to like thinking about the types of companies you want to work at, trying to like get that list and be really intentional about it also would help, because you can start to think about what things really matter for those types of companies. Like thinking about like Airbnb, like they're very design centric companies. So it's like, if I want to go work there, like I should probably like get stronger at design. Like I should probably think about that, you know. Or if I want to go work at Facebook, it's all about like networking. Like I should like get those skills. Like you can like narrow the skills you need, versus just like, if you have a smattering of dream companies, you kind of have to know everything, and that's really hard.
I think that's really, really helpful, especially for folks, asking the question right now when there aren't as many jobs out there. Do they just apply for anything? Do they try to learn everything? But being able to focus it is going to make it a lot easier, hopefully, and less overwhelming. And it's also going to help focus, like we talked about, like the networking, the conversations you're going to be having with companies as well, too. That's great. We've got two more questions, so we'll do these two and we'll wrap it up, or I'll start with one, and if we have time, we'll do the last one. But Nina asked here, based on your example with your background in healthcare, would you recommend targeting your search to your background? For example, her background's in education, human rights. So after finishing the Co.Lab sprint, should she focus her search on companies in those sectors?
I would say yes, in terms of it's probably like an easier path. Being able to like bring like industry knowledge in is very helpful. The only time I would like advise against it is if you're not passionate about that thing anymore, like for the long term. Because the nice thing about product is like over the long-term scale, you can kind of pivot and move a lot. But you also can kind of niche yourself down into like, I'm a healthcare PM and it's like, I only kind of know healthcare. Like you can move around that ecosystem pretty easily, but like the question is like, do you want to do that for the rest of your career? But I'd say overall, yeah, it's probably like the easier way to like really break into product is like leverage what you already know.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, I think that that's really helpful. And again, that question of passion, interest comes back to that too. All right, final question from Akil. How do you personally stay updated with the latest trends and developments in the PM field?
Yeah, I think, you know, it's kind of the same thing. Maybe like, and maybe I'm like too focused on like finding like your niche, but I think it is like helpful because there's so much out there. There's hundreds of PM podcasts and newsletters. And so for me, it's like I really focus on ones that are around data and around AI. So I think it's like both through like that kind of media consumption. One of the best things you could do as a product manager, I think, is like use other products. So like look at the products you use day to day and like the ones you really love and like take things from those, like look at cool new features and functionality and think about how you can apply that to your own product. And then lastly is like through networking is a big deal. Like see what your peers are doing. And as you see them do cool things, like, you know, ping them and dive into it more with them. Like, hey, I saw you talked about this. Like, what are you doing with this? AI is obviously the hot topic for that right now. Everyone's doing something with AI, but like really like I think leveraging those different kinds of like channels of like all the media stuff, other products, and then like your network. There's tons you can learn that way.
Awesome. Perfect. I think that was really great and a great question to wrap us up as well too. Thank you, Braden, for joining us. If you don't mind dropping your LinkedIn in the chat for folks to connect with you further, please do so. And now I'll just do a quick wrap up for everybody in our SPRINT29 and COLAB27 cohorts. So I always struggle to remember the numbers and not mix them up. But I just want to say a big round again of congratulations to each and every one of you. You've put in so much hard work over the last 4 or 8 weeks. And we're super excited to see where you go next. So please stick around in our Discord community, you know, share your Build in Public post, share when you land a job. We'd love to support and congratulate you as well too. For everyone in our Sprint program, if you're thinking about joining the bootcamp, hopefully today's presentations have made you even more excited about that. If you have any questions, do feel free to reach out to us at any point in time. And I just want to say, we start off the cohorts letting you know that the reason we started, or the reason Helen and Shifumi started Co.Lab is, based on their experiences transitioning from various backgrounds into tech. They noticed that there, it is a bit of a catch-22, needing the experience to get the job, but needing the job to get the experience, and that it can be really challenging to make that transition. And, we start out by letting you know that you belong in tech. And I just want to remind each and every one of you, you've done this hard work, you put in that effort, and that there is a space for you, and we will continue to remind you. So if you're feeling challenged or you're feeling that imposter syndrome, come back to our community, check in with us. And we'll remind you as well that you belong in tech. All right, everybody, I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you around. Take care. Bye.